Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful Friday morning. How are you out
Yes, it
there?
is.
How are you out there? Friday, the 11th of February.
Already?
Two
Already?
weeks in.
Wow.
2 weeks in, guys.
Already?
Thank God it's Friday. We're gonna be
Yeah,
prepping
yeah,
to
yeah,
have
yeah.
a light weekend,
Wasn't it
Sharon.
wasn't it like the 1st of January just the other day? Like just the other day. And Monday is Valentine's already.
Oh, wow. I am
Monday's
not gonna be
Valentine's
lying. I
already.
did
Monday's
not
Valentine's already.
remember.
Believe it or not.
I did
Well,
not
well, I know if
remember.
I don't remember, I won't forget it for the rest of the year. So
Oh
in the
my
back of my
gosh.
mind, and trust you guys are making plans for Valentine's.
I didn't remember Valentine's Day quite seriously because we only
FYI.
just
FYI.
finished with the budget yesterday.
Yeah.
So I guess over the weekend I'll be prepping for that
Yeah.
special day.
Yeah. And you know what, folks? I am finding it hard to breathe this morning because when I pulled out this shirt to wear, I realized why I didn't wear it often. Maybe I had it put on too long. I feel like things tight this morning. So I'm kind of holding my breath in to make sure that my Lord.
Sharon, while things are tight with you, I'm not gonna look up. I'm not gonna. Look
You know,
things tight.
but that being said, we love the fact that folks join this program every day, and some folks come early, and we saw Beatrice Selby was waiting because we can see some of
She's
the folks
probably on her way to
who
work.
parked
She's
and
probably
waiting.
there.
So Beatrice, respect and manners to Beatrice, who joined us very, very early this morning. Even before we came on, we could see her waiting on YouTube.
Correct.
Beatrice is a tuber. So,
Correct. So
and great to
don't
see each
see
and every
her
one
on
of you.
Facebook.
And the guys are going to show
Yes.
us the comments so we can see what's happening on social media and see who has joined us already. We see scores of folks. We see all the comments. Folks like Michelle, Rosalind, Douglas, Jack.
Don Cox is short.
Wow.
He's short, tight.
Yeah, that's what I'm realizing. Wow, that's big people fat. Corwin Grant and Suzette Washington, Michaela Webster, all you fantastic folks. We're so happy that you guys join us.
Good morning, Trim. Is that
Sasha
the name?
Sasha Trim.
Sasha
Yeah.
Trim.
Yeah.
Sasha's probably looking more trim.
Than me and Paula Mattis and Natasha Deely, all you great folks. Thanks for joining. And we always say as you come, share the program, share FYI on your Facebook pages, your statuses, and folks are joining us on Twitter, they're joining us on YouTube, they're joining us on LinkedIn, they're joining us on Facebook and a lot of pages across social media. It's Friday, guys, and we're so happy to have each and every one of you.
June, good morning to you, June. Chase, good morning, June. How are you this morning? I see Keith Dowling are also Keith. Joining us from
Respect Manless Keith.
YouTube. Good morning, Keith. Good morning, all you folks joining on YouTube.
Yep. Good to have you guys. Great to have them. Great to have each and one of you.
Old age fat, Sharon.
Old age fat. I think so. I think so. I've been on and off with gym and so on, trying to keep in shape, keep your mind in shape. You engage books and ideas and so on to keep your body in shape. And then your spirit, you got to feed your spirit. Mind, soul, and body. That's my own mantra. Mind, soul, and body. But like the body getting away a little bit from me to return. The body getting away a little bit from me.
No comments.
When I put on the shirt, then I realized, this is why I don't wear this shirt often.
Wow. I'm not having that issue this morning.
Thankfully. It's a slim fit.
Courtney, good morning, Courtney October.
Yeah.
How are you this morning?
Yeah.
Gulliver, good morning to you, Gulliver. Thanks for joining, Roxanne Abrams.
Yeah.
Roxanne, I see good morning. Roxanne actually commented yesterday, but I didn't get to follow up with her on something. I'll check it out later if it's the same Roxanne. Pace and Power, says Andrew Cusbert. Pace and Power 2022. This is the only time I say Pace and Power is when it's something related to Sharon Duncan. I think you brought that.
Yes.
Those words
Pace and Power. That's our theme for the new year. Pace and power. We got to go there in strength and confident in what we're doing.
Nigel John says he's on his way to work and he's joining us from Barbados. So good morning to you, Nigel, and all the folks that joining
Nigel dated turn up like that.
Well, Nigel, probably not that tight in Barbados.
Respect and manners. Respect and manners. And again, I can't say enough that we're so privileged that you guys join us from all over the world, and we're so privileged and we can safely say we are an international program in that respect.
Yes, correct. I see Marlon Knights is joining you. Dexter Duncan is joining us also this morning. Good morning to you, Dexter. Raphael Williams, good morning to you guys. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, lots of folks.
Jones. I think
Yeah,
Lyndon
Andrew
Jones, I know this
Cuthbert,
name well.
Dexter Duncan family.
I was about to ask, you know.
Family. Well, I don't know we family, but Duncan's got to be family. Maylie Knight and Carl Fordyce, Melissa Monroe, and Bernadette Parks. Guys, what are you having for breakfast? I can see y'all can see in our cups. I'm having some black coffee and pot bake. Black coffee and pot bake.
They can't see in our cups. It's like
black coffee and pot bake. And I was looking for something to
I put some cream in the coffee.
Bring out the pot bake, but I couldn't find anything presentable. And we know y'all got a lot of comments about this show and curtains and Twitter hair and neck.
Zambia in the house. Zambia Sherrod. Come on.
Wow. Is it Rayon Pyle? Rayon Pyle is joining us from Zambia. Folks, how far are you joining us from? Rayon Pyle, all the way from Zambia in the house. Folks, how are you receiving us in Zambia? Hope you got no static.
Good morning from Seattle.
You all see how our signal is strong?
Maureen is joining us from Seattle.
Seattle. Yep.
Pay some
Maureen
from
Coppin
Linden.
Williams. Yep. That's my born tongue, folks. Linden, but Zambia, Seattle. You see how our signal is strong? We can say our reach, the reach of our program, the signal is so strong. Zambia picking me up. Good to have Zambia in the house and Seattle. Vashti Magnot, Waterloo, Canada. Vashti having some jerk chicken. Fantastic. Floyd Johnson is joining us from Texas. They say everything is bigger in Texas. My aunt tells me that. Everything is bigger in Texas. Good to have Floyd with us. Beverly Moore King is here too. Sasha Trim is here too. I see, Shemaine Diamond Sam from Eccles New Scheme. Yep. Pace and Power. Linda Thomas, Florida and French Guyana is in the house as well. Northwest Territories here, Selwyn Bash. Wow. Folks joining us from all over.
You know, this is such a blessing to have the opportunity to speak to persons from throughout the world and bring them what is going on in Guyana. This is one of the programs that I think persons look forward to in the morning. Now, you come on at 8 a.m. We're not here to burden you down. We're here to bring a light morning to you.
And here's what Floyd is saying. FYI, we are all one big family. We are. One big family. You just remember that at Christmas time, Andrew? Birthday time, you just remember you said that. We're all one big family.
If you got something.
Right? All one big family. Good to see you guys. Good to see all of you. Yep. We got some stuff trending.
But we have a lot of things that's trending. One of the things that is going on right now, CXC actually declared Guyana's Queen's College like the top school of 2021.
Wow, CXC trending. CXC and Queen's College. Respect and manners to our students there at Queen's College. And all the schools, as a matter of fact, students put in their best. Correct. And they reap the rewards of that. Good grades, good subjects. And they go on to higher education. Some of them are introduced to the working world for the first time. But we want to recognize, CXC has recognized Queen's College as a top school. Yep.
2021.
Well deserved.
Because, we are the beginning.
Well deserved.
We're at the beginning of 2022. So usually you get these reports coming out when they assess the entire year for 2021, January to December, whatever exams and competitions that the schools would have entered into and so forth, contested in, competed in, and all of those things participated in generally. Now Queen's College was just deemed the best overall for all the schools in the Caribbean. So we celebrate with the students at Queen's College. I always say that we expect Queen's College to do so much, and we expect them to have the best of so many things because, quite frankly, they take the best of the cream of the crop, so to speak. When persons write the National Grade 6 examination, some persons would know it as common entrance. The best, no matter which part of this country you wrote that exam in, once you excel and you have above a certain marks, you are sent to Queen's College that school basically gathers the best minds within our country every single year, and they nurture them, and the work is put in Queen's College. Some excellent teachers, and I know that they have this alumni that actually does so much work in terms of the expectations of the schools being met.
I would only say it is it was to Queen's College's detriment. They didn't get me as a student. It was to their detriment. I was close by. I was in Wolford Avenue at what was formerly Indians Education Trust College. Well, I didn't go when it was Indians, but I was there when it was Richard Ishmael. I was close enough. I could see the board of Queen's College from Richard Ishmael in Wolford Avenue. So, but I dare say, so their detriment, they didn't had me as a catch. But folks, you know what? It really and truly doesn't matter in a large sense which school you go to. Because I know some folks who went to Queen's College, but Queen's College didn't went through them. That being said,
Oh my God.
but if you have a good support system and you push and you work hard, I think you can come out good, right? And have your own morning show talking to people around the world.
Well, wow, shots fired. What I can say is I went to Bartica Secondary School, and when I went
Shout out to Bartica Secondary.
but when I went to Bartica Secondary School, that's where I was born and raised there. So that's all that I knew. And I can say that there are a lot of persons that went to that school with me who
They come out too
went
bad.
on, and they didn't come out too bad. When I wrote CXC, I topped the region, entire region 7, but it's just you are just there and you work with what you have. You basically work.
I never knew that you topped the region.
Oh wow, yes.
What else have you been keeping from our future? What else?
No,
You
no,
think you
but-
know people? You think
We
you know
have-
people? I can see why Jack was saying, I ain't putting my head in a block for Sue because you think you know people. Yeah, but I'll be coming to Sue just now. Hold on. You think you know people? What else have you been keeping from
No,
us?
but I just want to make
It's
the
written
point.
your real name.
I just want to make the point that although that we have limited resources, we had just had a few subjects that persons could have actually written. When I wrote information technology, that was the first time it ever came to the school. So me, myself, and 2 other students, I believe, wrote that subject with all of the teachers. So
Yeah.
that we don't have the level playing field. We didn't have the level playing field back then. I know a lot of efforts was put into actually having resources distributed evenly throughout the region so that you can have these senior secondary schools in all the regions so persons could have more opportunities. Because a lot of times we lose a lot of quality people. We lose a lot of that intellectual strength that we have as a nation because persons don't have the financial opportunity to come down to Central Georgetown to actually go to these well-named schools that have a lot more resources. So while we celebrate the achievements of the top schools, we also need to celebrate the achievement of schools that are not listed in the top, that have students that have to basically struggle with whatever little resource that they have, but they still come out and they do great in society also.
Yeah. And again, we were talking yesterday about how parents play an important role, or one of the research shows, in the lives of their children, and being encouraging and having a nurturing environment, and good teachers too. Very, very important. And so part of it, yes, is having these schools with good name brand like Queens and so on. But in those schools are committed teachers, and you got parents and all that. It's not just magic. It's a number of things coming together that produces that child. And I dare say we've had students from across this country, varying schools who have done well. And so again, we just want to big up.
I want to mention
Bartica
this.
and Queens.
I see someone from YouTube is commenting that they went to what is it?
Anna Regina Multilateral.
That is the name.
Yeah,
Anna Regina Multilateral, and I dare say the Anna Regina Multilateral, located in region number 2 for persons who don't know. That's on the Essequibo coast of Guyana, Essequibo. I don't want Cher to be talking about locations in this country.
Demerara, Puricastellin, Demerara River, Puricastellin.
So, but Anna Regina Multilateral School has been doing excellent. That school does excellent. And a lot of students from Bartica actually goes to Anna Regina Multilateral because of the system that they have a dormitory and persons are able to go and live in while going to the school. And that system has afforded persons the opportunity to excel in their education also. So shout out to Anna Regina Multilateral School for the excellent job that they have been doing also.
Yep. Respect and manners. The Ishmaelites, the Bartica Secondary School students, Queen's College, all the other folks, St. Rose's, and so forth. Just recently there was a big argument in the National Assembly that Queen's College students don't take notes and from Rose's student. We're so school proud in this country.
Well,
But
that was to say that and I see Beatrice Selby said, Doretta, I went to Bartica Secondary. So hey Beatrice, that's a link a little
well,
tighter.
it means I can't put my head on a block for Beatrice either. That being said, folks, what else is trending? What else
Well,
is
I
trending?
see. I went to the newspaper this morning, Sharon, and I actually just want to comment because the newspapers are filled front page, second, third page with the fact that the budget was passed yesterday in the National Assembly. And one of the things that all the newspapers are pointing out is the fact that the Minister of Finance, when he was answering questions in the scrutiny of the Ministry of Finance budget, people would remember. Well, for persons that have not been following, throughout the deliberations, we're going through the numbers and we're asking the ministers questions. Anytime ministers are asked what projects will utilize the natural resource fund, they keep pointing to the direction of the finance minister, and so the finance minister have to answer that. It's a way of deflecting away from the question itself.
Yeah.
So last but not least, the Minister of Finance had to come to the floor to answer questions, and the question was put to him: what projects will actually utilize the natural resource fund? And the Minister of Finance gave the same answer that all of the other minister was given, basically to say that we will not be able to track what projects will utilize the money from the natural resource fund. And this is the very first
Isn't
time.
that against the actual act, the NRF?
Well, that is the way in which
Because it has to be accounted for.
They have set it up in such a way that they're going to take the money from the fund and they're going to come in their style that they have been utilizing, just come to the National Assembly to utilize it as a procedural setting to come through, utilize their one seat majority to just pass whatever needs to be passed, the bills and so forth, so for them to withdraw the money, which was done yesterday, by the way, from the fund, and it's going to put into the consolidatory fund now. So when the money gets to the consolidatory fund, there's basically no way of tracking what that money will be used for. And I say, and the question was put to the minister, how do you audit this? And they usually come with this, we will assure the Guyanese people
Trust me.
that this is what is going to be done. And that is not the way of accountability. It doesn't matter. This is not, we're not running as persons say, a cake shop. You can't just come and tell the people of this nation that you're going to withdraw every cent from the natural resource fund and not be able to track it as we go forward. So I think that's the biggest trending thing right now.
Yeah, and one of the reasons, Sharita, why that is trending, I see lots of people have been saying that when you look at the budget and where some of the resources are going, it seems to resemble an electoral map as against one Guyana, as the current administration has been preaching. It seems more to resemble an electoral map, and I think the guys have a graphic of the regional budget, for instance, and again how it looks more like an electoral map when you see where the allocations are. And due to these numbers might make better sense to you, because for instance we see in Region 4, the Region 4, as you know, has traditionally gone PNC, APNU, AFC. Region 4 budget has gone down.
One of the things you can point out to the viewers, looking at the map as you have it right there, you see the areas allocations that you have in green are actually represents allocations that are for the areas won by the APNU AFC, those regions won by the APNU AFC. The areas that you see in red are the regions that were won by the PPP administration. And what you would know is that when you look at that, you would know that the National Assembly, the PPP, have a one-seat majority.
And I would dare say to it a quote-unquote one, because that's a matter of an elections petition. Quote-unquote one.
We're speaking about what we're working with right now, and that's why I utilize that terminology. Now, what we're looking at right there, right now, although you see only 3 areas with green that was won by the APNU AFC, and you see the other 7 in red, that one seat that they have, it just blatantly tells you that the vast majority of the population reside in the green area. The green area, especially we're looking at region number 4. That is where the numbers.
The vast majority.
And the vast majority of the people reside in region 4. And how dare the PPP in the biggest budget ever come to the National Assembly and cut the budget for region number 4? How do we make sense of that?
And the other thing I think that stood out here, and is one of the reasons why this is a trending topic, is because even when you look at some of the regions won by the APNU AFC that monies were given to, it's minuscule in comparison to what other regions got. That's the other thing.
And I want to
we pulled
correct.
out
I
here.
want to use the correct terminology because I just said
Talk to us. Talk to us.
budget. I just
Economists.
said cut the budget for region number 4. In actuality, what it is, would they have reduced the budget that they had in 2021 to what they're allocating to them now in 2022. It's less than. So now that we have more than, they are giving less to region number 4, and I think that goes directly against any sense of democracy altogether, because we would know that when a region is won by a particular group of people, is the people going out there and say that, oh, we want these people to manage our resource, and what they are doing here is a direct attempt to tie the hands of the officials that were elected by the people in Region 4 by giving them less to actually manage this area. So now persons are going to be in Region 4 walking and want to know why in the biggest budget ever, over $552 billion, Region 4 isn't doing all that they want them to do. Because the government, the PVP government, has given Region 4 less
and then they can say Region 4 walking, Chairman Siram, I'm walking, they're walking.
And people need to understand it from right now. Don't get delusional. Don't be blinded by the comments and the rhetoric that's going to be coming up throughout the rest of the year. You can't give people less money and expect them to do more. And that is the simple fact of what is going on there.
And this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. And this is why, folks, we ask you to share this program. We want to see how you respond to this information. So we say smash the emoji buttons as well. So share the program so other persons can see what is happening. We do our homework, valid and credible information, just like Isabel Young. We do our homework here. And this is the information. This is the regional budgetary allocations for 2022. And this is what the spread looks like, resembling more electoral map than actually this one Guyana, which the administration often talks about, Rita.
But I want to put some emphasis on Region 9. The PVP ministers, especially one Nigel Darmalal, goes to the National Assembly and he speaks. He loves to speak about the indigenous people of this country. He loves to say how much care they have for the indigenous people of this country. Anyone that knows Region 9, anyone that ever visits Region 9 would know that indigenous people reside throughout Region 9. In every nook and corner, all the villages there are indigenous villages. And now Nigel Darmalal, through his ministry, there was absolutely no increase, not one penny more for Region 9 in that budget, the biggest budget ever.
Pim.
So it's one thing for you to go and claim that you love and you care so much for these people, but then show me where you spend your money, and I will show you what you value. I will tell you what you value, right?
Yeah.
And that is a phrase that has been circulating a lot. I think it was Joe Biden had actually said that at one point in time. So that is what it is looking like right now. That is how they seek to control what is done and also what is not done in certain areas of this country.
Yep. And again, we have a responsibility to bring the information to you guys. And that is this current budget that has just been passed.
Correct.
We talk about one Guyana, but it seems as though the resources aren't shared as equitably as they should in this one Guyana that we talk about. What else trending? What else is trending out there?
Well, I want to bring this one out there, Sherry. This one involves Sherry Duncan a whole lot. But I want to actually, this is for your information, I want to actually correct some misinformation that is out there I see circulating. And Nigel Darmalal, as we just mentioned, he is the minister in charge of local government altogether. And Nigel Darmalal actually was he took front and center when it comes to his outbursts in the National Assembly. But I want to highlight what we seek not to do. We seek not to bring lies to you, the people. We seek to bring credible information to you, the people. And one of the things that we noted is the fact that he took to his Facebook page after he gave, I don't know if you saw it, Sharon, but he said he gave an apology. I had reviewed that piece of video and I am yet to see the apology altogether. He didn't give an apology to to the person that he said what he said to. He just basically stood up and I just spoke a few words in his very arrogant way that he does things. And I think that he was forced to actually do that by his side of the house. Nevertheless, when that incident happened, and I just want to set the record clear with this, when that incident happened, I was in the National Assembly. Well, actually, I was in the lounge, the opposition lounge. Yourself was there also, and a few other MPs when the comment was made. Nigel Darmlan knows that. So when he was before the speaker, and David Patterson confirmed this, when he was before the speaker, he claimed that he was responding to MP Coretta MacDonald for saying something towards him. Then he took to his Facebook after issuing a so-called apology and said that he was responding to a comment made by Sherrod Duncan in the National Assembly. And I believe it's absolutely necessary to dispel that blatant lie. It puts him out as a compulsive liar, because not only was Sherrod Duncan not in the National Assembly when he made that comment, also he made a different statement to the Speaker of the National Assembly in the presence of Kemraj Ramjatan, Amanza Walton Desir, in the presence, I think, of Roysdale Ford, and of course, the Speaker of the National Assembly. So it is one thing for a minister to say those things, but then to come out and lie about what happened and what caused him to say that is a whole different story altogether. And this is what we are dealing with all the time.
Yep, and you know, we have said that that was a culmination, the intervention that was had in the National Assembly to bring a halt to what he was doing, being very dismissive and abusive to the female members of the National Assembly. That had come after culmination of things were said, of which the dildo comment was just one of them. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the dildo comment, here is that comment by Nigel Darmlal.
The reason why this figure was higher in you gotta get dildo. That's what you're looking for. There were snacks that had to be supplied to the team that distributed the COVID cash grant, so that is why the figure was so high last year.
So that was just one of the comments by Nigel Darmlal during that 5-hour session where the budgetary allocations for the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development was being interrogated. Interestingly enough, Starbuck News editorial today picked up on Nigel Darmlal and the speaker. This was Starbuck News said about Nigel Darmlal in its editorial today. I think it's titled "Words Have Consequences." Starbuck News says that Mansour Nadir is perhaps the weakest speaker we have ever had. To all appearances, the least familiar with what is required, and certainly not the most even-handed. This is Starbuck News, folks. Mr. Mansour Nadir is perhaps the weakest speaker we've ever had. To all appearances, the least familiar with what is required, and certainly not the most even-handed. And the editorial goes on. The editorial goes on, folks. Here's what it says in another portion of that editorial. Just today, Mr. Darmlal probably recognizes that his now crass and degrading comment, this is the comment on the dildo, his crass and degrading comment has escaped the chamber. The women's rights groups will have words of their own to say. One can only wish that our timid speaker had said them first. This is Starbuck News. This isn't anybody else. And we choose these independent sources to get a sense, is because we're going to get labeled as APNU AFC. Yep. We're going to get that label. And this is Starbuck News talking about the crass comments of Nigel Darmlal. And that's just one, the dildo comment. And the timid speaker who seemed not to be able to rein in government MPs. They are quick to rein in opposition MPs. But government MPs seem to have free rein in the National Assembly. But here's another comment during that session by Nigel Darmlal. Here's another comment.
Mr. Chairman, I had the indignity of being in Bad Settlement, where my mother is from. And that same young lady, the Honorable Natasha Singh, sorry, a relatively elderly looking Natasha Singh
Honorable
Lewis.
Minister, we're getting a bit personal now. Please, let us continue
Well, I was
with...
saying young and they didn't
Honorable
want me to
Minister,
say-
let's continue with providing the information on the roads
Mr. Chairman,
in the two
Mr. Chairman,
NDCs, which...
a relative of Honorable Natasha Singh Lewis.
Honorable
was one
Minister,
of our councillors.
please, let us keep our relatives out of
But it
Parliament.
hurts that they remove every single street light in Bath Settlement when they were in government.
Honorable Minister,
hurts.
please, could we talk about the roads?
They went to Cotton Tree and did the same. They went to Blairmont and they did the same. They went to Bushlock and
Honorable
did the same.
Minister, if you're finished, I'll ask the honorable member to ask
Mr. Chairman,
another question.
we are also in Bath Settlement. We'd be spending 7.731 million. And in Profit Rising Sun, 12,885,000.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Mr.
Yep. You heard for yourself.
You know, as a female member of parliament that sits in the National Assembly, I can say from day one, you know, this is my first time in the National Assembly, and before I even entered the halls of the National Assembly, you would look and you say, oh well, this place must have such prestige, such respect handed out to women, especially in society. And then to sit in the National Assembly, I can honestly say that I have never been more disrespected in my entire life than I have been disrespected in the National Assembly under the stewardship of Manzoor Nadir. Manzoor Nadir, I believe, is yet to show the protection towards the women on either side. I can say this is not a one-sided thing. As the Speaker of the National Assembly, it is his sole responsibility to maintain order in the House, and he has failed tremendously to do that. You know, I was listening to the tape with the comments to one Natasha Singh Lewis, and I can tell you, because it's myself, then Sherry Duncan, and Natasha Singh Lewis. She sits very close to me, and she's one of the most quiet MPs in the House. But then they knock and they knock and they provoke and they provoke, and I dare say that they provoke her because she's the only Muslim MP the only female Muslim MP that we have on the opposition side of the House, and they take that and they make it a target for her.
Yeah.
And in that particular video, it just shows the what length Nigel Darmalal is willing to go to. The speaker is there, and the speaker is saying, you are getting personal. You know, the speaker is there and he's saying that you're getting personal. Nigel Darmalal has absolutely no respect for the speaker. The speaker is not standing to show
His disapproval.
his
grave disapproval.
altogether.
Yep.
He's not doing
Yep.
that. He's just, and throughout the day, that those are the things that were occurring throughout the course of the day. But I saw, and I want to make note of this. I saw a video put out by the PPP's page when Natasha was making a presentation, and the shouts and the screams and the disrespect that was being shouted across the hall with her in the presence of Manzoor Nadir as Speaker of the National Assembly. Absolutely nothing was said to stop. And she's trying to make her presentation, and they're shouting the most disrespectful things at her. And then she herself now is put in the position, after not being protected by the Speaker, to defend herself. And
Correct.
she responded, and they
Correct.
found it fitting to upload that video. I don't know who's in charge of their PR, but that is an indictment on the PPP members of Parliament that was disrespecting her in the House. I don't understand what kind of PR they're doing over there to put out a video like that further indicts their male member of Parliament that actually was insulting Natasha Singh Lewis while she was on the floor giving a presentation, and whilst the Speaker was sitting right there and said absolutely nothing about it altogether.
Quite interesting when you have to talk about women in the National Assembly, a sitting minister of government, old face and elderly face. Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? It's and we need to stop, and pause.
Yeah.
Pause and consider the way forward. Pause and consider the way forward. And folks, I say this without regret. I would have stepped in 1,000 times if it meant bringing a halt to what Darmal was doing. And one understands that when you try to go through the standing order and all of that, the Speaker brushes you aside.
Yeah.
Brushes you
You're
aside.
not allowed. You're not allowed.
And that is why Darmalal went on and on and on and on and on, because the Speaker was deaf to Darmalal. And so that is one of the things that is trending. Trending also, Truth, is COVID and the fact that it seems as though the administration, they're going to relax the COVID curfew measure, and quite interesting. We're quite well over 62,000 confirmed cases locally. 62,000 confirmed cases. I think we're just above 4,000 active cases. The positive COVID numbers keep going up every day. We had over 100 yesterday. The deaths continue. I didn't see too much science behind the reasoning why they are relaxing the COVID curfew. Whether they've seen over a period of time, lessening numbers of infections.
I have a different viewpoint on that.
Talk to us. Tell us.
Let me tell you something. I don't see the science that was put in the curfew from 12 midnight to 4 a.m. I didn't see the science in that at all. I didn't see how that impacted the spread of COVID-19 in this country. I didn't see that at all. Right? So they don't deal with science and research. They get up one morning and they say we're going to put it from 12 to 4. They get up another morning and they say, oh, we may just take it off altogether, because I made this point, you made this point too, that the curfew that is currently in place from 12 midnight to 4 a.m., what happens in that time period is that any corner shop that is open, the police go into them and they lock down this and that, and we know that the bribes also that goes by for some of them
there's that too,
to actually stay open. But then we have the large establishment between that 12 midnight till 4 a.m. We have a large establishment that the persons are known to have a linkage with the PPP administration. Their doors wide open, is business as usual. So it didn't have that curfew that is in right now, still currently in. It did not have the impact and effect. We spoke about it. We said that it was done haphazardly. We spoke about it. We said it wasn't going to actually get the benefit that persons were expecting to get out of it for the numbers to go down. Well, we see the numbers keep going up. So we're right, they're wrong. We're right as usual. But what is interesting is that the person that said that it may be relaxed from as soon as today, I challenge that to be so. I have never heard him call something that actually happened.
One wonders if it's in respect to the energy conference coming up next week. I think it begins on Tuesday, the 15th of February, where you have some international folks are coming. Maybe there's going to be partying way into the night, way into the morning, events happening and so on. And so you don't want to break your own COVID regulations, so you just.
However,
I don't know.
let's be very strategic in how we think about it, because there's one thing about relaxing the curfew, but relaxing the curfew doesn't give you the freedom to go and gather in large numbers and all of those things. So those guidelines will still be in effect even if the curfew is relaxed. So that's why I'm saying, what is the impact he's trying to derive from actually removing the curfew? The curfew is not a standalone policy that is aimed at the actually curbing the COVID pandemic that we're in right about now. The curfew is a part of a list of policy measures that the administration took when they say that they're fighting COVID and they're doing everything in their power to make sure that the country is in a safer position, which we know that that's not the case. So even if the curfew is removed, you can't go gathering in large numbers.
Correct.
So what is the point? What is the point?
We'll have to ask the Minister of Health, the Board of Health, Irfan Ali, BJ, and Sue, and so on. Talking about Sue, we've come to the meat in our menu at our breakfast table. Talking about Sue, folks. Just drinking my coffee, minding my own business.
No, you need not drink your coffee and mind your own business when the world is minding the business of
Sue.
Guyana.
Who is Sue? Who is Sue? Sue Gate, folks. Sue Gate. That is what has been preoccupying the minds of Guyanese. Sue Gate. And it seems to get more interesting as the days go by. It seems to get more interesting as the day goes by. Sue Gate, every day, something new comes out. Folks, I love it. It means we have programs. I love it. Sue Gate. And as you know, folks, for those of you who are not familiar, let me give you a quick walk through the Sue Gate timeline. A quick, speedy walk through the Sue Gate timeline. See why we tell you how to share this program? To smash that emoji button, folks? Because we got a valid and credible information. So in the Sugate timeline, we got the interview. We learned that February 1, an interview was done between Vice News with its journalist Isabel Hyung and Barrett Jagdeo. And Jagdeo told us this. The interview was done February 1. He published about 3 days ago an excerpt from that interview, trying to get ahead of whatever scandal is brewing. He published part of that interview. That part of that interview that was published itself was scandalous because we were introduced to this figure, Sue, who, according to Isabel Young, leveled accusations of corruption and influence peddling and all of that against the vice president, of which, of course, he denied. Following that, the vice president had a press conference because, again, the excerpt from the interview by Isabel Young was so controversial and scandalous, he now had to have a press conference to do damage control to what was being said and done. No sooner there was this denial in this press conference, the Barjagdo told us that he would have spoken to Sue, who is his tenant and he's the landlord and friend, and Sue denied ever making those accusations and allegations. That was the denial PR. Following that, we have the statement coming out of the Chinese embassy. A statement that says that their contractors are above board and they comply with the laws here, and Vice Media had their own hidden agenda. This was the Chinese embassy in Guyana. And then we got a statement from Sue himself, right? Or somebody purporting to be Sue, because it wasn't a video statement. It was released to specific media houses. And in this statement purporting to be that of Sue, Sue was talking about, again, denying that he said implicated Mr. Jagdeo in any untoward dealings. That was his statement. And then yesterday morning, we had a tweet from Sue. From Isabel Young. We had a tweet. Isabel Young weighed in on the story, right? And then later on in the day, we had some comments by Irfan Ali on Sugate. But this is what Isabel Young said on Twitter yesterday. She said,
we seem to have hit a nerve with Guyana's Vice President Jagdeo. Our report hasn't even come out yet. And there you see that she has put up some pictures of the news headlines in Guyana that is circulating.
She said we hit a nerve.
But I want person to...
We hit a nerve.
When she said we, she's basically referring to Vice Media altogether, Vice Media Group altogether, that they have hit a nerve with what is going on right now. They're noting, I rather suspect, that even before their report has come out, that they see this interview being circulated in Guyana. This probably is the first for them that parts of their investigation actually is out before they...
And has created such a storm.
Yeah, but Parsons, I did my own bit of research on who not only Isabel Young is and who Vice Media is altogether, but the entire setup, the entire establishment, where it came from and what it did prior to coming here to Guyana. And what I realized is that this is not no joke operation, and where basically they have been involved in a lot of things that has toppled a lot of great persons. And we know that Isabel Young is actually an award-winning journalist. This is someone that at the age of 20 years old started working, I believe, as a producer, CCTV. They have over 1 billion viewers in China. So this is not somebody that just happened to come here one day to start off her career, or someone that is looking for a push start in her career. This is someone that is established in the business of journalism altogether.
Yep. But I think it was the comment of Irfan Ali yesterday on the sidelines of an army event that was happening that was quite telling, as he came out to defend the vice president against these accusations, and that interview was quite telling. I think we have an excerpt of that interview for you.
So there was a release of an interview between the vice president and a vice news journalist, and then there were a lot of reports of allegations of corruption and government officials taking bribe for the secure for contracts.
I don't know about a lot of reports, so can you give me the reports?
In the press.
What report you talking about?
All the
No, you are a reporter and you're telling me that you saw a report. Tell me what report. Tell me which project. Tell me one project.
It was reported that the vice president.
So I'm going to ask you a question now. I'm going to ask you a question. I heard that you are paid. I heard that you are paid by a special interest group to get a specific type of report in your newspaper. Is it true?
It's not true, sir.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's an exactly.
So I'm asking you, sir.
It's an allegation. Of course.
Good.
My government is above board. But I'm just saying this to say how sensational people are just doing things with sensational headline.
Okay.
I can ask you. An allegation is made that last night you removed a light from a car. Is it true?
And it would be up to me to respond appropriately.
Exactly. And if you say no, it's not true, then your headline should not be sensational. But this is what is happening. There's a lot of sensationalization that is going on of news. And I'm not into that. I'm into facts. Building one Guyana based on honesty, integrity, based on hard work, based on facts. This same reporter did not even know what the Amalis Falls project is about. Did not even know the name of roads. But came here, and I heard because we got intelligence gathering too, I heard that the reporter had certain special interests. An allegation was made as president, so people called me and said that this reporter was having a special interest on a special group, was managed by a special group. That is the information that people call me. That allegation was made. And I want the reporter to respond whether indeed this is true. Whether indeed this is true. First of all, the project. She said that the vice president would change the constitution. What nonsense that is the allegation. Somebody can just wake up and change the constitution. There's a process. That alone and the misinformation discredits her and tells you that her only objective was in pursuing a special interest. And go and do the research on this news agency and research on the individual. So this person came, did not even know what she's talking about, but the vice president can change the constitution, and he's planning to change the constitution to help some company out, which is absolute rubbish. Then did not know that the Amalis Falls project went out to public tender. The Amalis Falls, are you aware of this? And would you report? I'm challenging you now, as a good reporter, to go in your newspaper, and I'm challenging you in all of the press. I want to see your report tomorrow, outlining the following that I'm saying to you. The Amalis Falls was publicly advertised. It was a public process. It was done in accordance with the national procurement system. It was evaluated. A recommendation was done after an evaluation as who was the best bidder. That is a separate process, above board, beyond transparency. But I want you, as a good reporter, who I'm sure you are, an excellent reporter, to go and outline. I want to see this tomorrow. If you do this tomorrow, I'll be very happy. Not just to ask the question about this woman who arrives in this country and what I'm hearing, what a lot of reports coming to me that was a special interest. I want you now to outline in great clarity for the world the process that we embarked on for all these projects. Would you do that for me? As a good journalist, I'm giving you facts. You've asked me a question. I'm presenting to you the facts. I'm presenting to you what occurred. As a fantastic journalist, are you going to present these facts to the people in your article?
I will present facts.
Are you going to present this fact? You can go and check this.
Of course.
Are you going to check it and present it?
Once it's factual.
Who do you work for?
The Village Voice newspaper.
Good. So I'm going to watch for the Village Voice article, and these facts are there. I'm going to ask the people from DPI to help me to circulate the facts. I'm going to write it, and I'm going to make sure this reporter get all the facts on Amala's calls, and make sure we check the article tomorrow, and I want to see all of that in the article. Thank you very much. You're so gracious.
Yep.
Wow, that was.
Yep. Rita?
First of all, I listened to that last evening actually when it was brought to my attention, and immediately the first thing that came to my mind is the fourth estate, the media being the fourth estate, and the importance of the fourth estate in any country, and when they are muzzled, the impact and the effect that has in a country altogether.
Yeah,
And Sharon, I know that
yeah.
this is your area. You have studied communication, and that this is some area that you're passionate about, reporting and journalism altogether.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that was jarring to me, to see the head of state, whether you think he's there legitimately or installed, directing and say, cover this. I'm looking forward to see this being covered in the papers, right? I'm looking forward. Be a good journalist and put this in, right? That's directing. That's directing.
I actually want to read an extract that I pulled up only this morning, actually, when it comes to something that was said by journalist Jonathan Roach, and he majors in governance studies, and he reports on governance altogether. And on World Press Freedom Day, he actually said that a free press brings to light and disseminates the information that informs the electorate and holds powerful people and institutions accountable. He went on to say it shows where society's problems are, even when some might prefer to look away. He says that it is the first line defense of free speech for everyone. And then he closed off that by saying that in many countries, government, censorship, and intimidation are the leading dangers to press freedom. And I want to have this discussion because in Guyana, we would know that some of the things that hidden fear, basically, some of the things that falls as a roadblock when it comes to bringing information to the people, when it comes to press being completely journalists actually doing their work. A lot of times we complain and we say that persons need to go out more, not just report what is on the surface, but go
Correct.
out more and do investigative journalism altogether. But this is why you have none other than the head of state actually instructing a reporter, if I dare say, indirectly instructing the reporter as to what she should cover, but more importantly, what she should not cover.
Yeah.
And that is a threat in the greatest form to freedom of speech.
And what I took away from that interview, if you want to call it an interview, is the fact that here we're talking about in the National Assembly, our female MPs of the parliamentary opposition in particular being treated in the vilest of manners. And here is the head of state, vilifying an international journalist in Isabel Young, right? And he's so angry that is being channeled to Svetlana Marshall of Village Voice. You go and put this, you don't worry with this other story here, right? Don't worry with this Sugate and all of that. You focus on Amila Falls. It's quite interesting to see again, the treatment of women from the National Assembly to the journalists out there working professionally, right? It's interesting to note.
Well, we can talk about press a whole lot because both Sharon and I had the opportunity to work in press in this country. I dare say, and one of the things that we can make note of, I can make note of, is one of the way in which the government directly stifle the work of media houses is by not disseminating ads to them, because anyone that knows how these establishments operate, they operate by the amount of ads that actually comes to the newspaper, and government actually have the responsibility to disseminate ads. And at one point in time, I can say that while when coalition was in office, I can give evidence and facts that ads were disseminated in the most equitable form ever before in the history of Guyana.
But behind ads is money. And that's why one of the things we say here, we don't run on water. And ads is revenue. The establishment, the news establishment, needs to pay its reporters, need to keep the light on, you name it. And so ads is money, is revenue. And it was under the PPP administration that ads were withdrawn from Starbuck News.
Correct.
As part of muzzling the media. And so, again, my takeaway is, here you have this controversy with Dharmalal, a minister in his regime that he appointed, and his treatment of women in the National Assembly. And here's the president, this very same day, vilifying an international journalist, suddenly because her work is not to their likability, questioning her motive and all of that. And then you see the venom against Village Voices, Svetlana Marshall, just out there as a professional doing her job. Svetlana Marshall used to be the chief reporter at Chronicle, and they fired her. This same administration moved Svetlana briefly from being the chief reporter when they came in to being in DPI's library.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
They moved her from being a chief reporter at Chronicle to DPI's library. That's where they pitched her until ultimately either she resigned or they let her go or what have you. Right? So that is his history with that very reporter. His administration moved her from chief reporter at Starbuck News, at Chronicle, and had her in the DPI library. That's their treatment of women, professional women. And now you can feel the venom. He's channeling the venom against Isabel Young and that report and Sugate and all that to Svetlana Marshall.
But one of the things that we're very thankful for is that in Guyana, we see the system that is being set up right now. The government's aim to control what goes into the media and all of that. However, we have persons like Isabel Young coming from an international institution that says, you know what, even if the reporters are being muzzled here, we're gonna bring you the facts. And I dare say that Vice Media actually have a program, a documentary they do on Showtime, and their new episode, their new episode, these documentaries that they do on world leaders and corruption and genocide and all of these things. The new episode is I think slated to come out either this month or early March.
You tell me them guys will make Showtime?
No, they are.
It's Showtime.
It's a documentary on Showtime.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we have done our homework on what is expected. So that's why you had the reporter coming here on doing the interview on the 1st of February, but then she did not release anything as yet because this is part of a documentary that will be aired on Showtime. So
Showtime. It's
so
Showtime.
I'll be getting my popcorn for that.
FYI, it's going to be on Showtime. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to that as well. Looking forward to it.
Well, guys, we're here and the time goes by so very, very quickly.
That's what happens over breakfast. Naomi Drucker, that's what happens. And John Simons and Andrew John, that's what happens. Elson Duke, Easton Duke, and Donald David, that's what happens. Breakfast goes by so fast. But we love this time here with you guys, and we're happy that hundreds of you stop by. And we know you guys are going to share this program so that persons can get valid and credible information. You guys are going to smash that emoji button as well. Hundreds of you are watching us. We want more persons to get the information to know what's happening in our country.
Well, most definitely, and I keep reminding persons that we also go back to the comment section after the show, and we try to go through it to see if we missed important comments and things like that. So we encourage you also to leave your comment. We will go back and we will check and see. Someone actually directed me to a report yesterday in the comment section. I can't remember your name, but those little things I take a note of, and I did went and look at that report. So thank you so much for engaging with us. This is I think this show is meant to be extremely interactive. It's not just us bringing you the information, but we appreciate every bit of feedback that is given from your part. So continue to give your feedback, continue to share, continue to just help us to disseminate credible, valid information altogether.
Yeah. Even if the feedback is about Joretta's neck and her hair and
I think someone has an obsession with my neck and hair.
Feedback is important.
I swear.
Feedback. But folks, just like any media enterprise, we have to pay our bills too. Others pay theirs through ads and so forth. And we're getting there, but mostly rely on you guys. We rely on you guys, and that's why we ask that you come on board and you partner with us. We have several platforms available for you to do so. We have the Cash App platform. Our Cash App handle there is in the ring 592. It's a $ in the ring 592. That's the Cash App handle, $ in the ring 592. As an affiliate of the In the Ring program, we share all of their platforms as well. And then at PayPal and Zelle, we're the same email address, one email address for PayPal and Zelle. It's inthering592@gmail.com, inthering592@gmail.com. And we're also available via MMG, that's the GT&T system, the GT&T Cash App, quote unquote. And our number there is 627-6963, 627-6963. We're available via MoneyGram and via Western Union as well, folks. MoneyGram and Western Union, you need any guidance, you can WhatsApp us at that very number that we provide for MMG, 627-6963. You can WhatsApp us there for any guidance you need on any of the platform. Good to see so many folks join us this morning. Brenda Braffett and Tessa Waterman and Andrew John, all you fantastic folks.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, guys.
We'll be back on
And
Monday.
We'll be back on Monday.
Monday.
Do enjoy your weekend. See you on Monday at 8 a.m.
Coming up, we have the Below the Belt podcast at 12. We're back in the ring at 8. And then we have the Below the Belt podcast all weekend for you guys. But for this program, we're back on Monday, the 14th. Monday's going to be the 14th. It's going to be Valentine's Day.
Am I allowed to wear red on Monday?
When we come back, yes, you're allowed to wear red on Monday. You come out. You come out. She is a girl with your things, you know. She's a girl with your things, just like some of you.
Oh my gosh.
See you guys back on Monday.
See you on Monday.
Yep.